following thoughts, opinions, stories, and expressions are meant for those who will appreciate them. If you don't, we hope you keep an open soul to encounter another here on 34 Questions. Peace. In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, folks? Welcome to 34 Questions. I'm your host, 34, and tonight I have a very special guest. We have Frankie in the building. How you doing, Frank?
Pretty good, as he said. Mr. 34. Man, okay, didn't make it very far.
No, you good, man. You good. No, man. Just want to thank you.
I go by.
Okay.
Go ahead. You said introduce yourself. Oh wait, do it.
I said how you doing, man?
You can't just change the question.
Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Okay. No. How am I doing? Very well. Thank you.
Gotcha.
How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. It's Wednesday, hump day. 2 more days until winter break for the school I'm working at, which means I'll be working from home for the 2 weeks during that. So I'm excited. And yeah, excited to have you on. So this is great. After you, I'm gonna have 3 out of the 5 arch boys on
like
the podcast.
Infinity Stones.
Yeah, I'm trying to collect it all.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I hope we talk about that later.
For sure. Oh, and we talk about what you want to talk about, man. This is the Frank Santos episode, so you direct this conversation. But anyways, for the folks out there who are unfamiliar with the flow of the show, we do some intro questions, some warm-up questions just to set the tone. We'll see if we get out of that, because I feel like even the intro questions are going to be, might have you going. But yeah, we do some intro questions. After that, we'll jump into the Wheel of Fate. And then after that, we'll finish it off with some closeout questions. Sound good to you, Frank?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I asked you how you doing, but this is more of a serious, how have you been lately? Like, honestly, you've been doing great, you've been doing good. How you been lately, man?
I mean, most people will respond with good, right? And then not kind of think about what that really means and like who's actually asking, because most people ask that and not actually care. So what I'm trying to get at is like most people don't think about the response. So I'm thinking,
Yeah. No, take your time, man.
Yeah. I mean, because how have I been today, this last week, this last month or year even, or last 2 years, since we're coming up on 2 years of this pandemic. It's all relative. But in general, I could say I've been good. You know me to be a kind of positive person and optimistic person. So in general, it's been staying like that. And I'm just like really grateful to have time here and be able to talk to you.
No tears right now, but for sure, yeah. Man, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the last time I seen you was your birthday celebration. How long ago was that, would you say?
That was in August, so
okay,
4 months, 3 or 4 months.
That was a great time, man. Just seeing being together in the same place, I think was really dope. It's been a minute. So yeah. Thank you for the invitation. But,
yeah, that was fun. That was a really good time. Like seeing everyone together, like you said, was really cool. And that's like my favorite type of parties, when you have all your close friends there doing anything really.
No, for sure. And you had, different universes all together. Different parts of your life. How's that for you? Is that something that like you enjoy? Does it kind of stress you out because you feel like you have to, kind of spend time with each group? Some people don't like it. Some people like to keep those universes separate. But for me, I always have the idea that would be fun as hell for me because I know everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about for you?
I'm on the same page as you. I like to have everyone there because it's like a movie, right? It's like a mashup of all the characters, all the people in your life, and I don't want to wait till my funeral for everyone to be together. You know what I mean?
Damn.
I want to have
I like
everyone there.
that.
Yeah, like that's the only time that really happens in people's lives if they don't mix their their universes. So for me to be at peace, I need to kind of have that kind of it be able to fit all together. But I understand that certain people, there will always be clashes and stuff, but I hope for whatever the celebration is or whatever the event is, that people can put aside those relatively small differences and just be there for a friend.
For sure, especially to honor you, right? Especially if it's something that you kind of put together. I'm not just saying me, but for anybody, who would want to come in to bring that energy if it's just gonna reflect on the person who put it together, or what the reason why we're all together. But yeah, man, I really felt what you said about the only time our universes really combine is at funerals and stuff, which is weird, right? If I went to somebody's funeral and then I saw someone I knew, and I'd be like, yo, what the fuck, you knew this person too, and we never really talked about it, or we didn't connect sooner or whatever. Yeah, it makes me think about that. And yeah, the word I was looking for is crazy, a crossover, and that's why I think one of the joyous parties you can really go to are weddings, right? Because it's your universes and then another person's crossover.
That's another time it happens, not just your funeral.
Yeah.
But not everyone gets married, so
yeah. No, I hear you, man. I hear you. All right, let's move on to some warm-up questions. This first warm-up question for you is, what would you like the audience to know about you?
It's a hard question because I'm normally a kind of closed off person in my personal space. But if there's one thing, probably that I think whoever wants to know about me, I think that person matters, and they have a purpose that they may or may not be aware of, that I hope and I support that person to find what that is. It's kind of reversing it, right? But about me, if I'm gonna go just strictly about me and my character, my persona, probably that I'm an optimist. Yeah. I don't know, it's probably not the best answer, and I probably think of a better answer later and I'll remind you, but
you're fine, man. You're fine.
Yeah.
Do you ever sometimes find it's hard to be an optimist?
If you're around pessimistic people.
Damn. I got
people
you.
Who are people who are pessimistic but don't seek a solution. That's the hardest thing as an optimist, is trying to not always try to think of a solution, because some people they don't want to hear a solution, or they don't want that conversation. They just want someone to talk to, or someone to let their thoughts out to. And that's probably the hardest part about being an optimist who likes to fix things.
For sure. I think me as an optimist too. And for the longest time, I believe problems have solutions. One thing I never really got a grasp of until recently is that there's solutions, but there's a lot of time and hard work that goes behind these solutions. For me, it's always we have the solution, so let's put it in action. And it's well, that's not going to work until it becomes the standard, or that's the thing that is known, I guess, from previous generations. This is how it is, so this is why we've improved. But yeah, that's something that made me think. All right, moving on to number 2. If I were to do something in your honor, a way to express your energy, what could I do?
Let's see. Digging through the files. Nothing there. Honestly, dude, just like getting, like we talked about earlier, getting together with like all the it doesn't have to be everyone from my life, but people that maybe you and I had in common, and just sharing stories and having a good time, and just spending time together. Like that's probably the best way to, in my opinion, to honor someone. I wouldn't want like some grand gesture, but that would be pretty cool too. I don't know, like everyone learns how to ride a one wheel or something, and rents a one wheel for the day and goes on like a massive ride or something. I don't know.
Now yeah. I feel like I feel like at some point in my life I have to do a one wheel just for you. Like
man, come on by.
Yeah, when I'm like 60, I finally learned, Frank. You know,
we're gonna have like hoverboards by then. Just like no wheel.
Yeah, like no effort. You just have to stand on it, and everything happens for you. But for sure, I got you, man. I think now we all know what we could do for you. And
a cool trip, like a vacation, like a getaway with those people. Be pretty cool. I like to travel as well, so yeah. That was just, throwing that on there. Another thing.
We could wear
Frank on the topic.
We could wear Frank shirts with your face on it, so people know what we about. But yeah, for sure, I got you, man. Now, like, since we know each other, I feel like this has to happen at some point in the future. Well, yeah, let's do number 3 of the warm-up questions. Is on a scale from 1 to 10, how well do you know yourself?
I'd say probably around 8 or 9, because I'm a super introspective person since like a kid. It's like sometimes all I think about, but I do surprise myself sometimes. So, got to leave a little bit of space for that and growth,
I got you. When's could you remember the last time that you surprised yourself?
Yeah, probably starting in May till now. I'm just surprised about the amount of sleep I've been running on, because we have a daughter now, and I didn't realize I could run on like this amount of sleep, which is barely anything compared to what I was getting before. Yeah, especially the first like 2 or 3 months, it was like I was hallucinating. I hallucinated an earthquake, and there was like a garbage truck going on outside, and I felt like I was like halfway asleep, and I felt the ground shake, and I felt the windows shaking, and then I shot up out of bed and I looked at my wife and I said, "Grab a baby," and she like looked at me so confused, like what? And then we like ran to like under like the doorway thing, but yeah, no earthquake.
But it's gotten better for you. Like you've been able to kind of handle it better. Your body's getting used to not to running on low.
Kind of. You do get used to it. It doesn't get better, but you get used to it. I've been getting more sleep recently because she sleeps throughout the night, and also some nights I will, like if I have really important meetings or something, I'll like sleep in a different room, like away from the baby, or maybe on the couch.
Gotcha.
Just to make sure. I'm a super sleep oriented person. I really need like 8 hours, but it hasn't been 8 hours for a long time, probably since like a year ago. So
I mean, it's like only for the first 3-4 years until the baby can sleep through the night. Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe.
I'll let you know. I don't know. She's been doing like 6-7 hours, so it's been better.
For sure.
Yeah. Challenge though.
I mean, I don't know if I'm ready for that challenge, man. I guess who's ever ready sometimes, right? But yeah, nah, that's life. But I was gonna ask you, what do you think is a common misconception about you?
From the perspective of just
like a stranger, you know, like somebody like knowing you for the first time, and then there's something that happens or something that comes up in conversation. They're like, "Oh, what the fuck? I would have never thought that about you."
Well, previously it was like age, because you know, like they would say, "Oh, did you drive?" Like my haircut person would be like, "Do you drive here on your own?" And this was like maybe a couple years ago. It's like, okay, I'm like 30 something right now, so yeah, I did. But it's been less, especially this year. No sleep, right? And like especially after cresting 30, definitely less of those. But that was like really big before. Like I'd say up until like a few years ago, like I'd get questions like, "Oh wow, you look like you're, you know, in college still," or like, yeah. It's like, okay, that's cool. Like I don't get mad at it. You know, some people get mad that like, "Oh, I wish I looked older," but I don't mind. But then I'd say people I work with, they think that someone told me they thought I was an extrovert, which is like, I mean, maybe I'm like a little bit in some cases, but I definitely don't recharge my way. It exhausts me like that.
Got you. Yeah. Damn, I had a question, but I got distracted. My bad.
Oh, my bad. That was my bad. Let's rewind.
No. We can't. I wish we could, but we can't, man. We got to keep moving forward. That's the only way we got to go in life.
so, dang, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, that's. I'm still in, I guess, mentor mode from coming off work. Got to slip it in when I can get it in. But yeah, man, we made it to. Damn it! I can't edit that either now.
What's the age group in this demographic? Audience?
Honestly, it's older folks. It's like people, I would say 30s and above, because I feel like what I'm doing and the messages for is connecting with people who are in our mind frame. So yeah, that's who I think is listening. I can't tell though. I don't have the fucking numbers unless it's YouTube, and I haven't followed my YouTube numbers, so I'll let you know. I'm also very curious. What I pay attention to a lot, or I check is what's it called? My stream numbers as far as like audio. So the Spotify and Apple thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was asking because I want to make sure, you know, if I have to keep it PG or like.
Nah. Don't censor yourself, man. Don't censor yourself. Be who you are. Like I said,
that's hard to do. That's easier said than done.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah, for me,
but
at least.
But you know me, like I try to just put it out there and like try to make you as comfortable as possible to feel like you can. And yeah, and it's you're not sharing these stories with just me. It's gonna be the people who check this out eventually. But yeah, all right. So ready.
Wait, was that all the warm-up questions?
That was all the warm-up questions, man. Only got 3 right now. But there's always, you know, I have my little follow-ups in between. I was going to tell you an interesting fact, and I want to shout out to all my listeners in India. You know, much love. It's funny, that's like the second country that listens to my podcast the most, and like, shout out to y'all out there. I hope y'all like this. But yeah.
Okay, got it. No Indian jokes.
Hey man, I like Filipino jokes, right? I like it when my people make fun of us. But
have you seen an Indian person make a Filipino joke?
Russell Peters? Nah.
Oh wait, yeah. Oh, ate those words quickly. I remember that. Jalapenos, or no, wait, no, yeah, jalapenos. But I was just thinking the paint joke, but.
I don't think I know that joke.
I'm not even gonna do it.
All right. You can say all right. Let's you ready for this? You ready
Can I expand on something?
Yes,
So I just
absolutely.
thought about it, about like the whole censoring thing, because this could kind of explain why I tend to overthink responses. And if you're still listening, this is for you. In like the recent years, and especially now, like it's so easy to be like canceled, and kind of like things can be taken out of context. Like someone could take like a 10-second clip from this and like post it everywhere, and the next day it's like across the world, right? So I think something that I think about is like the consequences of like something forever being online. That's a little bit scary. So yeah, that could be a reason why I overthink a little bit, but I will do my best to, give you the wholehearted answer.
I mean, I want you to feel as comfortable as possible. So what I could do, like, we don't have to release this right away. Like,
can I take my shirt off?
If you want to, man. Like I said, I don't know. You didn't see the promo because someone asked me that too, and I was like, as long as it's not below the waist, be yourself. But yeah. So, yeah, man. I mean, I could send you a copy. You could review it and like, because if you're gonna overthink about it after we shoot it, and you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. I want you to have it so you could at least like, cut it up the way you want, and then you can set it up, send it back. I want you to feel protected in a safe space. You feel me? Like, I know cancellation can happen too. I'm aware. But like, I don't have as much to lose, I would say. So yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, I definitely get it.
Okay. No, I mean, I hear you.
All right, for sure, man, for sure. But yeah, man. I mean, that's an interesting thought that you gave me. Is like, yeah, I want people to feel kind of protected on the show. Like, I haven't disabled comment. I mean, no one's watching, so no one's leaving comments. But I do think about like having
no
my
one's
guests.
Watching. There's people watching right now. Hello. See?
Okay. Some people are watching, but I wouldn't say people are compelled to leave negative comments on anybody. There's no bullying in my comments. Yeah. But if it ever gets to a point where I think that happens, I have to disable comments, man. I'm not gonna have people on here, and I want to do everybody. So I want to encourage people to come on and feel comfortable. And I also don't, unless I have to delete every negative comment, which I feel like is not something I want to spend my time doing. But yeah, I
think it's just probably my like industry and like being over conditioned for that. But I'm aware of it. I know that I overthink it, so that's why I'm kind of giving you that disclaimer. And like, yeah.
For sure. I mean, you gotta listen to my disclaimer, man, because people who listen to this are gonna get that disclaimer, and hopefully they understand that this is what this whole thing's about. But yeah, I was gonna ask, since you brought it up, how much percentage-wise in your experience and where you are at in life right now, would you say people are faking the funk and people who are being or keeping it real? And this honestly, this question has changed between a lot of folks. So from your personal perspective, how do you see it?
You mean in my age group, or in my profession, or my group of friends, or
I would say in your life experience. How many times, like percentage wise, have you felt people were being genuine with you versus yeah.
I like to believe 100%. And that's one of the reasons why my circle's not so big, right? It's because people in it are 100% genuine with me. And I like to believe that 110%. Yeah, I mean, as far as the people that I interact with, I'd say 100%. And I could say that in full confidence.
That's dope, man. I think it's one of those things where it's like, it's the energy you bring out too. You know, I think in my case, I don't know. I like to believe everybody's, you know, being genuine as well. But obviously you can also tell when it just feels like either there was information they needed or, you know, they, for some reason, had an agenda. And for me, even when I recognize that, it's not anything like I think is bad or like, you know, because I feel like there's a lot of people who are like that sometimes. And not every interaction has to be like, you know, super genuine. I don't think so. I would
Well,
like.
let's kind of define what genuine is, right? It's like, would you agree that it's like who you really are, who that person really is? Like,
But
and
then
if
like,
so,
yeah, go ahead. Well,
I mean, if go ahead.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say like my genuine self to my parents versus my genuine self to you. You know, I would like that person to be the same all the time, but I don't think that's the case, right? Like, I try to bring it as close as possible, even though there are those like small pockets where I know I'd be acting a little different between groups.
Right. But I think it's really complicated because there's more than like one person. You know, when you think of yourself, like you are one person to yourself, but other people see you completely differently. I forgot the quote, but there's like something. It says, I think I saw it on Instagram. Actually, it's like the Japanese say there are 3 faces. Like, I don't even remember the quote, but I remember it's like something like, you are one person to this person, one person to this person, and then to yourself. You know.
I got you.
And yeah, I think we do wear that. I don't think it means that it's less genuine because we all choose to, you know, how we project ourselves. But yeah,
no.
Yeah.
And I got you. That's why I think when people do come at me with an agenda, I know that's not them, you know, all the time. You know, it's like,
right.
it's just in that moment they had to get something, and I'm like, all right, for sure.
It also doesn't mean people can't change, because people can be a certain way and be like, oh, that's not really. You can say like, oh, that's not really that person. But then how that person reacts in that situation, you know, 5 years from now could be completely different. And you know, that face that they show to that in that situation could be a matured version. So people change all the time.
For sure. And yeah, you know, I think I can almost confidently say this, that in my lifetime, everyone I've ever met, it's never been just a one-sided person, right? Like somebody who's just like straight up an asshole all the time, you know? Like there's almost always a reason, and vice versa, right? Like even the nicest person could be an asshole sometimes. So there's always going to be, and then that true one where that person finds out for themselves. But yeah, I got you. All right, man. I think. Oh, so genuinity. Do we have the definition, or how we defining this?
Should we pull up Webster's?
We ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna start the episode off with like the definition of genuine.
Let me get my dictionary. Like, remember when people used to have those paperback, like the small ones?
Oh, dude, yeah. I used to keep one in my backpack all the time for no reason. I don't think I've ever used that. Oh, dude, I was a nerd. Yeah, I ran with that group, I would say. I remember one time in college, right? I think maybe I told you the story, but this one time in college, some girl came into my room, and then I guess she thought I was a different person because she looked around at everything in my room and was like, "You're a nerd."
She's like, "Oh, I get it. You're a nerd."
Hella funny, bro. And she was nice about it, but in my back of my head, I'm like, "What you mean by that?" I'm a jock.
Can someone be really nice about it? I mean, unless they're a nerd themselves, you know?
I think that's what it was. But yeah.
Should have said, takes one to know one.
Ooh. Oh, now I gotta go back 10 years ago to do this. Rewind button.
In the back, by the way.
The dog? Oh,
yeah, there's just dogs roaming. So.
It's cool, man. People have their pets all the time on the show. Hopefully one day in studio in person. Yeah, pets are welcome. All right. let's head on to the wheel, man. We made it to the halfway point of the of the podcast. I hope you've been having fun.
What?
It's been fun. Fun for me too. We haven't even got. Yeah, I mean, we got to 30 minutes. That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, I thought we just warmed up.
Yeah. Oh, we did. That was a warm up, man. We about to turn this wheel right now. Let me give that a spin. Wheel of Fate.
It's like a game show.
It kind of is. It's a different kind of game show. All right. So I am going to note down all the numbers, and you see the points of the numbers, or
Points.
the points in the middle, like the middle thing. Don't worry, I got you. I was gonna say the points on the circle thing. Those are all the numbers that it goes to, and those are the numbers that we're choosing.
The numbers are the numbers of the questions.
Yes, they are. Trying to explain it, I was multitasking, man. I need a producer to like help me press the buttons and do all this shit while I'm trying to concentrate on the conversation.
Like Howard Stern.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, every great radio personality has a person like that. They have to have somebody to do all the extra shit.
Rob Dyrdek.
He does
ridiculousness.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He has
I don't know if it's still on, but
I know it's a meme about how long it's been. Like MTV just keeps renewing his contract. But all right, man. You got your first number is 28. So we going 28 easy, or where do you want to go?
Huh? 28 easy.
All right.
No, wait. What does that mean?
The easy, medium, hard.
Oh, you can choose.
Yeah.
And what's the scale based off of?
It's subjective. Subjective to my opinion.
Oh.
Well, because it's like, how else am I gonna make this list? Am I gonna survey 100 people? Maybe I should. But yeah.
Oh, okay. I could get. Okay. All right. Let's go with hard. Let's see what that's like.
All right, 28 hard. What is something you self-diagnose yourself with?
ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be real about that. Yeah. I am considering the next time I see my doctor to ask how I can test for it. I'm very curious if it's something I legitimately have, but I will say I'm also scared of taking the medication for it. Because like I might have a misconception, but I think it's Adderall is what you take for it. Or
there's a bunch, yeah.
Yeah, so let's just say Adderall. I know in that, it's a little bit like speed, which is a little bit like meth, and that's something that has been bad news in my family. So it scares me to feel like, damn, is the thing that I'm gonna need to try gonna be the thing that I'm also like, fuck, I never wanted to touch that. So anyways, yeah, that's crazy.
There's also other remedies and therapies that you can do that are not reliant upon methamphetamines. So I would suggest definitely talk to your doctor. I know I should, and I will. It's just every time I go there, it's like, okay, we're doing blood tests, we're doing this, okay, we're done. It's like, okay, oh wait a second, and they're gone.
Well, that's the ADD, right? ADHD.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's other things. So I hear you. There's definitely concern if you have to like rely on something or take something. It's I don't take anything. I don't even get a flu shot every year. I did get my vaccine, but I was kind of done out of necessity rather than like, oh, I want to.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, I haven't. My parents remind me all the time, get your flu shot, and I still haven't. Even though, I
ever.
I have before. Yeah, it's no big deal. Well, you haven't ever before?
No.
Wow. All right, man. Me.
I don't know. No one ever pushed it. No one ever like kind of spoke to me about the benefits or like push it on me. My parents never did. So
maybe you got it one time and your body got immune to it, and it's just like, all right, well, now you're you're what's it called? You're immortal. No. Well, yeah. So why do you feel like you would diagnose yourself with ADHD?
Well, I could listen to someone talk and they could look it directly in the face, and I could just totally miss it and like totally not remember it at all. Like it's a blank spot, like nothing's there. I tend to hyper focus on things too, which is a symptom. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too into the details of like what
I got you.
makes that, but those would be the main two, I'd say, that kind of raised the flag for me. And that's not coming from like not just observing myself, but people telling me also.
So how many times did we have a talk and you just kept saying, cool? That's what's up.
No, because like I will actually respond to you in that conversation. Like you won't be able to tell. Like, but if I were to try to go back and like if there was something important in there that I was supposed to remember, but my mind like filtered it for some reason, it'll be really hard to. But there are things that really trigger my memory, and I really had to think about it in the past year. And it's really like things that have an emotional impact on me, I remember those the most. So if it's like makes me super excited, or if it's really sad, or if it's like really important and it's like very apparent in the conversation, I remember those. Anything anytime I've talked to someone out there, any of my friends, that's been like a real true conversation where like you can feel there's like an emotional connection and emotional like energy in that conversation, I'll remember that. But if my brain filters that out, like if my brain filters out the conversations that are just like doesn't feel like there was like huge emotional impact, then it's harder for me to remember, and I wish I could remember all those, but it's really hard. Could be my brain making space for other things, I have to think about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I think for me, it's not so much the memory of conversations and stuff. It's more like I love the multitasking. I love to have, I have my screens. Like I end up, I'm thinking about my job today when I go to work, and like I have these tasks to do, and I end up trying to finish like 4 tasks in an hour, but all doing things separately. And then when I try to do one thing through the whole time, I think I have a hard time. I'm like, oh wait, an idea comes up about the other thing, and then I have to like jump over there and I'm like, okay, wait, I need to get back to what I was doing. And I don't know, I feel like it happens way too much for my comfort. Not something I ever really thought about growing up, but also like in school, I was the kind of person to try to do my work during class, not really like pay attention to the teacher, but like look up when they're doing a lecture, but still trying to do my work so I didn't have to do it at home. And so I don't know.
Smart man.
I mean, but I think it happened to my it like pushed me into like a low attention span. I love TV. You know that about me too. So zoning out and just listening to stories is also one of my favorite pastimes. So I think those mark off things on the list. But I do have to have that conversation with.
I think everyone has that kind of not approach, but like sees it that way, but it's just level of intensity. Like there's like a saying that goes like, people won't remember what you said, people won't remember what you did, but people will remember how you made them feel. You hear that one?
I read that one today.
Oh, you read it today?
Yeah.
Coincidence?
Yeah. No, for sure, man.
Yeah, I truly believe that.
Yeah, sure. I would ask you, but we don't gotta talk about it. We could talk about this when next time we see each other, about how we feel. Let's talk about feelings later.
We can do a part 2, man, if you want.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like it would be better than part 1.
After you got the flow of things, you'll watch it, you'll see what it's like, and you'll be like, you know what, next time. That's how it goes, honestly, especially if people aren't comfortable with doing this. Like I've had people who weren't, and then I had people who I knew was comfortable in front of the camera, or like being able to like talk their talk. And yeah, it's very interesting how it varies. But I think like the person coming on still feels like they got something out of it. At least I hope.
My worry is that I don't want to come off preachy. You know, as like anyone talk, because like I'm more of a person like, I don't know, my like communication has been more personal, like one-on-one, and it's like, so sharing it openly is like, it's like really different.
Yeah. And I mean, I know you haven't seen the episodes, but I feel like people get that vibe off this, man. We're not making statements. We're not like, you know, trying to say we're right or, you know, anything like that. It's really about, you know, just being you. And like I think people who come on and like, I've disagreed with people and I've told them my side of the version or my perspective on it, and it's very like, we agree to disagree kind of thing. And I think the viewers and audience, like, that's why I say, man, protect it, because people can't come at the show and being like, oh, this is what you're doing. Like, honestly, if you watch everything, that's not what we're doing. Like, it's very it varies a lot. So yeah. Don't worry.
All right. It's funny because like I interview people, but for work, obviously. And it's kind of hard to switch that off to more of a conversation, especially since everyone's doing meetings on Zoom now. It's like looking at a screen. We're not like in person. It's a different mode.
True, man. I hope one day we could do something like this in person. You know, that's the goal, at least. But yeah, it's very interesting. But I also think that's why it was like a good time to do something like this, because people have felt, you know, they got into a rhythm of doing these conversations through camera. I hated doing this before the pandemic, man. Like, I could never see myself FaceTiming or like doing all this stuff, and then now it's just like it's a part of my life. But yeah, I can't stand looking into a camera sometimes, so I gotta get used to that. That's why I have it at this angle. But yeah, it's
me too, man. I mean, I like to be behind the camera, not in front.
I can't say that about myself. I think there's a part of me that does like it, but
we shot music videos.
Yeah, you know.
Dude, yeah, I mean, it's hard to forget that.
I know it wasn't super comfortable, but you could tell that something I enjoyed. And yeah, I mean, I think that's another part of just realizing who I am as a person during quarantine and stuff. I don't think we'll talk about this more off camera. This is about you, Frank, not about me.
Okay.
Your next number is 23. Easy, right. Medium, or hard?
Let's go hard.
All right, keep it hard. Let's go.
Sorry.
No, you good, man. I'm doing it on purpose, just so for your laugh right there.
I almost laughed when you said you want to do everyone.
Do everyone? When did I say that? But oh man, that's gonna be the Easter egg. Someone's gonna rewind and be like, "When did he say that?" I would love for you.
You said it.
There you go. But 23, hard. That your question is, where do you belong?
Man, it is a hard question. Like, how do you even answer that? Like, I feel like I keep asking questions like, how do I answer this from my perspective, or like, where do I feel I belong, or like, where do other people feel like I belong?
Where do you think you belong?
I belong right here. This is where I ended up.
Okay.
I mean,
where is here?
Yeah.
What is here?
Here? Okay. Digitally, I'm on someone's screen right now talking to you.
For sure.
Like, location wise, I'm in, Bay Area, and specifically San Ramon.
You don't gotta give no addresses and nothing. I don't want nobody running up on your house.
But yeah, I mean, like that's like physically I'm here, and I feel like all my life decisions have led me here, and I feel like there's no such thing as a mistake. So this is where I belong, physically and digitally, with you right now on the screen. I don't think I'm destined to be anywhere else at this moment. Yeah, that's what I believe.
For sure. Yeah. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt like you didn't belong somewhere?
Well, I don't really go out often anymore.
I got you.
You know what I mean? Like,
hey, dad life, man. Yeah.
I don't belong. I mean, we went to Joanne's Fabrics, and I'm like, I don't know anything about arts and crafts, but I didn't feel like I didn't belong. It's more like I don't know anything about this stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's more about like just not the knowledge of the things that happens in there and what goes on there. Well, I know what goes on there. People buy stuff. People buy sewing machines and like fabric, right?
Yeah. No, I think I've went in there to buy fabric at some point in my life.
Oh, really? Can you sew?
I can't. You know, I bought it so I was gonna bring it someplace so they could sew it for me. I was like, I like this pattern. I want to put it in the inside of a jacket. You know? Yeah. Which honestly, yeah.
I was gonna say, if a place where I truly didn't, I feel like I didn't belong. I think as someone, as an introvert, probably just any party in general that's not my own party. And not because it's, not because like the people make me feel uncomfortable, but it's just like, you tend to kind of be more comfortable in a space where you know everyone, rather than like, oh, like all these people, no, I don't know any of them. But that doesn't mean I didn't have a good time. You got to learn to adapt and talk to people and put yourself outside of the box and be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
For sure. Yeah. Well, it's funny. You definitely had different perspectives on the question, which I like, man. I dig it. I dig it. No.
Completely wrong. Got it.
I'm writing notes right here and saying, man, don't release.
I mean, we can honestly take one of these questions and talk about it for the whole hour, because there's so many different ways to look at these questions. That's why I'm having difficulty. I'm like, do I answer this from this perspective, that perspective? And that's part of it, right? Like that's part of it.
Yeah, that is part of it. But I also I've had, episodes where people just took the first 3 questions and we talked about that the whole time, and it's like, oh shit, now you have to come back so we could get to the wheel or like go to actual questions. So yeah, man, like damn, now I wonder all the things you were gonna say about the other questions that you felt like
there's so much so much.
But yeah, so we'll definitely do another episode.
I feel like this is like scratching the surface, like an introduction for another time. But
honestly, man, if this is something that you want to do, I'm already doing it. You just have to let me know a time and we could just do one question and go through it all. But yeah, we can figure that out. So in that case, I will push you to answer the closeout questions how you'd like. But we made it to the end of the podcast, man. There's the last 10 minutes. Breeze through. But yeah, so at this point, there's an exercise I would like you to do on the pod, and it's gonna revert back to, I think, the other flip of the camera, but it's called the 34th mantra. It's called I want you to finish the phrases I can, I am, I will, and then so I am blank, I can blank, I will blank. All right.
Oh man. This is hard.
And the best part of it,
I forgot what the prompt was.
Don't worry, there's a reminder on the screen. The best part is you're gonna be talking to yourself. Look at yourself. And there you go. You're talking to Frank whenever you watch this again, the future. But you says right there, I am, I can, I will. I am blank, I can blank, I will blank. How will you?
Supposed to see it on the screen, or?
Oh, you don't see it? It's okay. Never mind. You should see it at the bottom, but if it's not showing, it's not showing.
Oh, let me see if I can make this. Oh, yeah, I see it now. There we go. I feel like a grandpa. How do I make this full screen? Do I start?
Yes, you do.
Okay. I am enough. I can grow. I will grow.
For sure, man. Hey, man, if you want to keep it like that, or if you want to, think about it and do it again later, it's all up to you.
I am enough, but I can grow. I will grow.
Yeah. Damn, so you combined 3 separate phrases into one. I like it.
Gotta speed up the end, just like
speed run. But some people, my guest yesterday, he felt like he needed to do a speed run, which was also a funny take on it.
Yeah, actually I think that would be really cool. Just like limited response, boom, 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 boom. Like it's like I would probably be forced to get more out.
All right. I think next time you come on, we're going to test that. I've actually been preparing for something like that where I have 34 seconds on the clock and then like have a speed run where my guests would like do, have many voice questions as they can.
It'd probably be really hard for someone like first, like getting on there. Cause like, I can't imagine you doing that in the first 5 minutes. Cause like I was still trying to collect my thoughts and what's happening and like all of that. But so now like we're like at the end of it, I'm like, now I can answer your questions.
I got you. Okay, that's good. That's good for me to know because then I can kind of like tweak the order of my little breaks where the 34th mantra can go in the middle. Then I could put the speed run at the end when it's like a little. But yeah, that's right. I'm down for that. All right, man. So moving on to the closeout questions. All right, so the first question is going to be a question from my previous guest. So shout out to Austin. Austin's question for you is, what's stopping you?
What's stopping me? Nothing. I mean, if we're making it relative to our goals in life and what we want to do, I'd say nothing. Feel unstoppable.
That's a great feeling, man. Yeah.
But we can't take anything for granted, though. Like everything can change tomorrow. But right now, nothing.
Yeah, I got you. So it's like the unknown is what's stopping you. Unknown.
Right.
No.
Yeah, it is. It is because it's also like the unknown is a motivator. Do it now. Don't wait, because if you wait, you might wait for a time that may never come, or you might not even get that chance. So if you have time right now, don't waste it.
Sure. And then my second to last question is, what would you like to ask the next guest that comes on to 34 questions?
What brought you here?
Ooh, man. I always want to ask every guest that, actually, because I think that's a good testimonial for future guests. It's like, what brought people here? So
I mean, they're gonna say like you did, but there's so many layers to that. Like, how do I know you, and like, why do I care? To spend time doing this.
Maybe I could frame it that way. It's like, so I wouldn't say care, but it is. I am curious why people say yes, come on the show, because especially people I don't know, because I'm like always thinking to myself like, I don't know if they feel like there's something I'm trying, like an agenda, because I know I don't have one, but I'm sure a lot of people are seeing my messages, my DM, my introductory DM, and they're like, oh, this guy's whatever. But then there's other people who are like, wait a second, this is dope, and want to do it. So yeah, I'm always like,
this guy's or whatever.
Hey man, how many people ask people for podcasts, to get on a podcast? I think there's a lot of folks.
Yeah.
What's it called? I reached out to one of the, I don't know if you know about Apple Fitness, but they have trainers and stuff. It's kind of like P90X, but with like Apple trainers and stuff. But I reached out to those. I reached out to those trainers too, because I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like these are personalities, and maybe I could get somebody on. Reached out to all of them. One person got back to me, and he's like, yo, man, can't do it right now, but when my contract's done, I'll reach back out to you. I'm like, oh, sick. That's dope. And yeah, so I'm just waiting. He didn't say that. I he didn't put in those words, but that's what I got from it. It was like, oh, I'm signed up, bro. I can't do any media stuff till I get done.
I mean, I rescheduled with you like what, 2-3 times maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad I finally made it.
For sure. At this point, and the first episode, maybe another one. Like I said, a whole totally different conversation.
I would like to. I demand.
Okay. For sure, man.
Demand a redo. I wasn't ready, guys.
But we can definitely do it, man. I will always send you the invitation if you let me know when. So
yeah, no, I just feel there's like so much to unpack, especially like based off our conversations we've had in the past, like years and years and years ago. There's like, I mean, we spent hours talking about stuff, and there's really good gems in there that I think that are really helpful to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you don't really get that when it's like maybe a back and forth conversation. So yeah, I'm down to do something again.
For sure, man. I want to let's get through this one, and because you said because you said that, I have a question that kind of like previews the next episode. You feel me? But anyways, let's finish off. Question that finishes every episode pretty much is, what would you like your descendants to know about you? Like, or what would you like to say to them if they're watching this 100, 200 years from now?
Okay. Put me in a machine.
Clone me. Like, bring me back.
Yeah, put me out there. Because it wasn't possible in our generation. No, I think to answer that, I would think like, what would I want to know about like my grandpa or like people before me in my family, my line of ancestry, lineage, because I don't know a lot about them. I know like stories from, family, like, oh, World War II, fought in World War II, was a guerrilla, and other stories like, while the Japanese were occupying our family's village, like my great aunt or something, like slapped one of the Japanese officers for disrespecting women. Like that stuff is really cool, and I think it gets lost with as we get older. Like I don't speak Tagalog. Like most Filipinos in America, I'd say it, but we don't speak Tagalog. So like, culture and like family, like history gets lost. So what I would want to know about my past, people who were before me and my family, I'd want to know like, what did they like? What were they into? What kind of hobbies did they have? So I would like people after me to know that I was a nerd and I liked gaming, huge passion for gaming. Thought the internet was the coolest thing, and experiencing life before internet and then during was like crazy transition, like for everyone in our generation. And yeah, I mean, like I loved photography and videography and films and shooting. Yeah, I think I would want them to know like my interests essentially, because it might inspire something in them. It might not, but it would be cool. It's kind of a cool perspective. Like, what did that person like at that time? So yeah, that's what I would want them to know.
For sure, man. So, and any last things you'd like to add before we head out of here, and I give you my final question that leads to our next episode.
I feel like we just started. I feel like the first 30 minutes was just like fluff on my end.
No worries, man. No worries.
So I wish I could give you more.
We'll do it again. Yeah. We'll run it back. We'll run it back. So let me do my, I'll do my sign off after I give you this final question to preview the next episode. I was going to ask you about, I think you introduced me to the Myers-Briggs test, and it was this personality test. I think you were INFP, INFJ, or something like that.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I flip flop between those two.
Gotcha. Let me ask you, how much weight do you put behind those like personality tests?
You're like, you believe in that? Dang.
I just want to. I'm at. Well, you want to put it that way? Then put it that way. But I'm asking you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like you're. Are you asking how much I believe in, or like how much weight? Right.
How much weight? How much weight? Yeah.
I think it's a good tool for people to understand or start to understand who they are as a person, like self-evaluation. But I don't think it's a cage. I don't think people should be like, oh, I'm an IFP. I can't have like pumpkin spice latte right now, or like you know, like I feel like people tend to get locked in those things. That goes for any label, really, too.
For sure.
But I think it's a good tool for people to self-evaluate themselves. And in terms of like weight behind it on everyday interaction, I'd say like 50%. Like if you were to think about it, like because you have to reflect on like why you do stuff, right? At the end of the day, I don't know what you do, but sometimes I think like, what did I do today, and like why did I choose to do that over that? And that's where knowing yourself really comes into play, and Myers-Briggs test kind of puts words into like what you're feeling, but it could be wrong, and you know it's not. I wouldn't say you have to live by those things, but more like it's an introduction to yourself.
I got you. I had to press pause somewhere because this was supposed to be our next topic, intro topic for our next episode. So sorry, I had to just pause you right there. But there was this documentary I saw. I didn't even watch the whole thing, but it was about personality tests. But they, I like media that starts off with a quote in the very beginning and then goes into the story. So the quote was by Carl Jung, I think. Carl Jung. And I think you are familiar with that name, no? The philosopher. Yeah. So the quote was, you gotta find out who you are before the world tells you who you are. And I was like, yeah, I think it related to me about personality tests and like horoscopes and all the things that tell us like this is who you are, if this is. And honestly, like like you said, I think there's a lot of elements that make us who we are. Like, maybe I am a Taurus, that's a horse, you're the horse that is INFP or whatever. But it's all those factors that kind of like mix and become like who I am. And like you said, it's a cage. People change different times in their lives. Maybe, I was more extroverted, now I'm more introverted. It's all that stuff. So yeah, let's pause right there, man. I want to thank you again for coming through. Let's do this again. Want to thank all the folks out there. If you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, definitely appreciate y'all time as well. Remember to reach out, reach forward. As always, much love, and we'll catch you guys next time on 34 Questions. Peace.